these challenges. Senior leaders who fail are unlikely to make a comeback. More often than not, they rationalize their failings and blame others while disappearing from genuine leadership responsibilities. In Chinese, the character for the word crisis is made up of two symbols, danger and opportunity. That's exactly what it represents for you as a leader. Although there is always the danger of failing, guiding people through a major problem is your best opportunity to develop your leadership. That's why I recommend that young leaders get down on the playing field early in their careers rather than commenting from the press box. Young leaders also have the opportunity to learn from their mistakes in order to handle the next crisis by following their true north. David Neeleman got fired at Southwest Airlines, but rebounded to create a highly successful airline in JetBlue. Kevin Scher learned by failing at MCI and became an outstanding CEO at Amgen. The global economic meltdown. There could not be a better testing ground for leaders than the global economic meltdown. On Wall Street, leaders like J.P. Morgan's Jamie Dimon, Lloyd Blankfein of Goldman Sachs, and John Mack of Morgan Stanley stepped up to the challenge. Chuck Prince of Citigroup, Martin Sullivan of AIG, Lehman's Richard Fuld, and others were unable to cope with the severe pressures. The origins of the meltdown date back to the 1970s, when leading economists like Nobel laureate Milton Friedman advocated that shareholder value should become the primary measure of corporate performance. The instant stock price became the proxy for a corporation's true value. Friedman argued against consideration of the interests of other stakeholders in measuring corporate performance in his landmark 1970 article, labeling those concerned about other stakeholders pure, unadulterated socialists. By the mid-1990s, Friedman's philosophy had gained widespread popularity. Meeting expectations for quarterly earnings became the primary driver of stock price, as corporations were pressured to maximize short-term shareholder value. This pressure caused many managers to sacrifice long-term investments in research and development, customer satisfaction, and market share. Former General Electric CEO Jack Welch recently offered a contrary point of view. Welch, whose leadership led to an increase of $400 billion in the value of GE stock during his 20 years, argued against focusing on shareholder value. He told the Financial Times, "On the face of it, shareholder value is the dumbest idea in the world. Shareholder value is a result, not a strategy. Your main constituencies are your employees, your customers, and your products." Foreshadowing of the current crisis. The failure of hedge fund long-term capital management, LTCM, in 1998 presaged the global economic meltdown by a decade. Founded in 1994 by investment bankers and Nobel laureates, LTCM used mathematical models to maximize trading gains. In 1998, its high-risk strategies backfired, resulting in $4.5 billion in losses that threatened the fund's collapse. To avoid widespread financial panic, Treasury Secretary Robert Rubin organized 14 investment banks to create a $3.6 billion bailout of LTCM. Most Wall Street firms and government officials quickly forgot the lessons of LTCM. The following year, Federal Reserve Bank Chairman Alan Greenspan and Treasury Secretary Lawrence Summers pushed for the deregulation of financial institutions, including repeal of the 1933 Glass-Steagall Act, which separated commercial banking from investment banking. In the next 5 years, thousands of unregulated hedge funds were created with no transparency and high-risk strategies eerily similar to those at LTCM. Collapse of Enron and Arthur Andersen. The collapse of Enron and Arthur Andersen in the fall of 2002, followed by similar problems with WorldCom, Quest, and Tyco, resulted from high-risk strategies and illegal accounting that triggered passage of the 2003 Sarbanes-Oxley Act. It had the beneficial effect of tightening up corporate accounting and requiring CEOs and board members to attest to the veracity of the numbers. In the following year, over 200 companies made major accounting restatements. In Authentic Leadership, I wrote that capitalism became a victim of its own success. I argued, we need new leadership, authentic leaders, people at the highest